Okay, Mr. Director General, we're going to go out of this conversation to have the final remarks, but let's talk a little bit about NASLA, the National School on Local Administration, because that school was created by President Paul Biya. It is 2 years old today. You are telling us that the school is effective in terms of its functioning?
Oh yes, the school is functional, operational. We trained the last batch of the former CFAM. We trained the first intake of 306 personnel, regional and local authorities in our in-service training. We have recently selected a second batch of about another 300. We have done a number of specific training exercises, for example, with all the regional council chairmen, their deputies, and some members of their councils. And then, as of a few days ago, the Minister of Decentralization and Local Development launched the first competitive entrance exam into the initial training, 2-year training cycle of NASLA. So the school is fully operational.
The one question that has been recurrent in public opinion is whether, like a NAM, the National School on Administration and Magistracy, the people who graduate from NASLA are also integrated into the public service.
What
is the situation?
I will say also, amongst other things, they are also integrated. I don't like the word integration very much when we talk about the local public service. I prefer the expression recruitment, because the law says the regions and the councils recruit freely.
There's a difference, legally speaking.
Yes. And so, when we talk about a local public service, we are talking about a mechanism that transfers people into a core, and then the people are deployed. And I think that it is just coherent that the school having been created, the head of state having announced the creation of a local public service, when it eventually comes online, the trainees of NASLA have a vocation to be integrated into the local public service. And the local public service, that degree will set out the mechanisms in which they are deployed into the regions and the councils. And what I know is that the study on the degree is very advanced. It is at higher levels. I don't want to prejudge of when eventually that will happen. But as in managers, we will not wait until the degree is signed in order to start a training course that takes 2 years, because the regions and the councils need this personnel. And so the decision taken by our supervisory authorities and by the government is to start the training. We are starting the training. Personally, I am confident that by the time the training ends in 2 years' time, the instrument setting of the local public service would have been signed. And at that time, the issue of how they are integrated into this core and how they are deployed into the region would have been resolved. That is what I have to say about the integration. And if even exceptionally, and I really think it will be exceptional, that after the 2-year training program, the instrument is still not ready, I think the government, the Prime Minister recently recommended in the last session of National Decentralization Council for priority to be given to train products of NASLA in recruitment in the regions and the councils. That is why the government created the school. That's why the head of state took the decision to create the school. And I think that the government knows its responsibilities and knows what is incumbent on it as a government to ensure that this decision by the head of state to create a school that trains staff for the regional and local authorities effectively trains the people who go to work in the regional and local authorities. So on that score, I trust the government. I am confident, and I think that what young Cameroonians should retain and do is that it is an opportunity, and so they should seize the opportunity now and do the entrance exam, and those who will be privileged to be selected. I use the word privilege knowingly, because to me it will be a privilege to be trained in NASLA and a privilege to work in decentralization and local development, because of the content of the training we are developing, of the ambition we have for the quality of the products of NASLA, to make them able, either on their own or through direct recruitment by the councils or integration, call it whatever you may, to find a job within the domain of decentralization and local development. That is a nursery for employment at the head of, as the head of state recently said.
That's a good landing apart, gentlemen. It was wonderful having this interesting conversation with you.
I thank you very much for having given me the opportunity of expressing myself on a number of issues that I found to be very interesting.